Hey everybody, welcome to Eyez on Crash.
Live here at the PacSun store. Not really. That's a lie. It's just me and Leon here for the intro, and yeah, I guess we gotta talk about what we've been watching. What have you been watching, Leon?
What have I been watching? Well, not too long ago, like 3 days ago or something. That's a rough estimate. We went and saw Mad Max.
Yeah.
It was really fucking good.
It was so good.
Hopefully, if we gather the people we went with, we'll do a podcast of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that would warrant that if we can get them all together. But yeah, like just it was honestly, I feel like Hollywood could have fucked it up, and they didn't. 100%, they just didn't.
I went in with lukewarm expectations.
And he came out like, yeah, guitar guy!
And was blown away. It was a really good movie. If I had the money, I'd go see it again. Yeah,
and apparently the freaking creator, I read somewhere where the creator said he demands there be a black and white version. I'm like, oh, okay.
He could just make that a director's cut if he wants.
Yeah, just put it as an extra on the Blu-ray.
But yeah, like, this is one of those movies that if you don't see it in theaters, you're missing out.
Yeah, definitely, because but I wouldn't recommend seeing it in 3D.
Don't see it in regular 3D.
Go see it in, like, IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because that would enhance it. Like, normal 3D isn't enough for the fucking shit.
Yeah, because, like, waiting for your eyes to adjust, and I was hearing that even without the 3D, like, some of the beginning scenes were kind of
busy.
Yeah, kind of busy and shaky, so you might miss some stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, hell, the thing that they were teasing in all the trailers, that Fury Storm though, the Sand Thunder Tornado Storm,
the skin peeling fucking tornado Fury Storm in the desert.
Yeah, like that was right in the beginning. I'm not even, like, just sorry for the spoiler, but it was basically one of those scenes where it's like, yeah, get hyped for the movie.
There's nothing to spoil. There was a giant storm, and it was like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the trailers anyway. So, yeah, and also Quan Chi was there.
And Quan Chi as well.
And Quan Chi, and also my good old friend Quan Chi.
Yes.
And maybe his friends Quan Chi and Quan Chi and Quan Chi.
You'll know what we're talking about when you see the movie.
Yes, and if you know Mortal Kombat. But anyway, so what else did you watch?
I also watched more of I'm still keeping up with My Love Story with like 3 exclamation marks.
I gotta start getting back on that because I watched the first episode and really liked it.
I've been slowly but surely like getting through Kuroko no Basket.
Yeah, I hear I hear like it's a good series, but some people think that Kuroko is kind of a Mary Sue.
Not really. Like I have to get further into it, but as of right now, he has like one specific power, and then he gets a better power later on. Well, like an enhanced version of that.
And by power, we mean basketball technique.
Yeah, he gets like an enhanced, like crossover version of that. And then, like, if he's not like, if he starts landing 3-pointers and shit, then he's like, then he's broken. But right now, his shit is ultra specific.
Yeah.
Also, what else I've been doing? I've been looking at my fucking bookmarks, and I'm like, okay, some of these I have to finish some of these, cause some of these are done, so I need to hurry up and read them and get them off. So I can have less things on my bookmark. So I jumped back into Clover, and I'm trying desperately to finish Hitman Reborn.
How's that been?
Oh, I so don't care. Like,
is it really just that bad?
Like, there's only so many times you can hear about, the mystery of the Acablano curse that you just, like, yeah, I really don't care anymore. But now they're like the arc where they're like, someone is going to be lifted of the curse, but you have to pick a representative to fight for you.
Damn. time. That's so, like, whatever. That's boring. Just the idea. It's like, okay, we're gonna have another fucking fighting thing. Let's do it. Screw it.
Oh, I should probably also... I want to...
Is there characters that are even cool still, or no?
Soon it just keeps getting powers after powers. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I guess there's that, and he's cool.
I didn't say it was cool. I'm saying it's ridiculous how many powers he keeps getting. And, like, it feels like some of this... I don't like reading a manga and then every other chapter I'm going, I wish they would have did this. If they would have did this, this would have enhanced this.
Yeah, that's kind of just like, at that point, it's really not worth it. And
I mean, like, this would have been a classic for me had it been like the first or maybe even second shonen series I read, but as of now, it's like...
It's too tropey.
Yeah.
Like, definitely too tropey. If I'd recommend only watching the anime. Just end it there. Don't continue.
It's not the worst, but... Yeah.
That's pretty much it. But anything else, or was that mostly it for you?
What else have I been doing? I gotta also get back to watching Ashinojo.
Yeah, the man boxing.
Yes, the boxing during the bad times of boxing when everything was awful.
Yeah, but I guess as for me, I saw Age of Ultron, which we're actually going to get to in this very podcast. So I won't say what I think of it now. I'll let you guys listen in. And yeah, that was the thing I saw. And, you know, Mad Max. As for anime that I've been keeping up with that Stardust Crusaders.
Oh, same.
They're in the home stretch, pretty much. Just got done watching the Vanilla Ice fight. And Dio pretty much just got revealed. They handled it so good. It was so nice. The Vanilla Ice fight. It was so good. And yeah, I mean, as I always say to everybody, if you haven't already, go watch JoJo. It's really good. And it's on Crunchyroll, so you don't have to go and illegally watch it. Go watch it on the legal streaming site and be a good person. I don't know. Ad revenue, yes.
Which we're not getting.
Exactly.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday, like the Magic Conch. But yeah, I've been like kind of passively keep watching One Piece. I'm after the time skip now, and you know it's a little slow. Like when they come back, it's a little slow. I feel like it's being dragged out a little longer than it should be. Like I think them coming back should be like 3 episodes at best, not like the amount that it was, or rather is. Because I'm feeling like, oh, just go somewhere else. I'm tired of fucking Bodhi Archipelago. Go elsewhere. When are you gonna go to the Merman Land?
Do you think it was because
Fishman Island?
Do you think it's because they were padding it out to wait for the manga at the time, or?
I feel like it's that. Honestly, yeah. Like, and I mean, I'm not against reading manga over watching anime, but in this case, One Piece is so wordy that I feel like I get a better sense of it by just watching it, like of what's going on. Like when there's like a big paragraph of text being thrown at me, it takes me a while to just take it in. And whenever I'm reading manga, I'm usually kind of like, I'm a little bit skimmy with manga. I'll miss a few details here and there. So with One Piece, it's like I'll miss a million details, and I hate that. So I'd rather, you know, like watch it, and it's the same thing with like also just looking at action scenes. Like Blood Blockade Battlefront is a perfect example, and I like the anime so far a little bit better than the manga, because in the manga, like the fights don't feel fluid. It's just like, hey, here's this key point, here's the attack this guy did, you know, like. And the angles are weird, and just like it's hard to tell what's going on, you know. I like manga. I do. I'm not as against reading manga as I used to be because I used to just prefer anime 100% more. But manga I still consider a secondary thing. Like, if I don't have to read it, I won't read it. But, speaking of manga, I have been back on track with Ippo. And Hajime no Ippo. And I read the fight where Itagaki fought the karate punch guy. Hoshi. Like, and he bodied him. They built up Hoshi, but then Itagaki's like, nah, I still got it, buddy! Because that whole arc was like, oh no, he lost his motivation as a boxer. Now he's gonna do terrible in this fight. And his trainer, Mr. Shinoda, might quit. Because everybody keeps talking mad shit about him.
Because everybody he manages is garbage now.
Yeah, so...
Everyone he manages never gets the belt.
Yeah, and then Itagaki just came in and was like, I'm gonna get you that belt, son! Just like, oh, it was so nice, that fight. Like Hoshi's just trying to get that one punch off, but Itagaki just kept, like, just bobbing and weaving, like, nope!
I'm too fast, I'm a speed star. You know what that means? That means you're never gonna touch me.
Yeah, so I'm liking Ippo, and I watched the little plot arc. I just read the little plot arc where like they're going through like this. Takamura was throwing them into this new training regiment where they have to go on a motocross bike path, but run on that. But then it was really just a clever ruse for them to like run into a bunch of poop. But then it turns out like all the poop is gone, and then Aoki and Kimura are walking around the corner. He's like, oh shit, I need to prank these guys too. So then he's like, hey guys, you come over here, I need to show you a cool thing. So they start walking over, and then they see him with his pants down, a piece of poop right under him. And they're like, did you really? And they threw the poop at Aoki's head. And then, like, Aoki grows his hair back in the next chapter, and then it just shows, like, the stages of his hair getting defiled, and the poop was there, and I'm like, I'm glad the poop didn't stick around. That would have been weird. If he just had the poop on his head for the next few chapters. Like, yeah, him not having great hair for a couple chapters was one thing. I mean, he was Brocco Man for a little while, but... You know, I would have been very upset. I'm like, guys, stop it with his hair. Seriously? Leon, does it get worse?
Nah.
Thank you. From here, it doesn't get worse. Because they keep fucking with his hair. It's so annoying. It's like, you finally grew it back. Oh, no. No, back to square one. He just abuse his hair. It's funny. But, yeah, Ippo's still great.
Oh, it gets so much better because I'm fully caught up. And fuck, there's so many good matches.
That's what's making me go. That's what's making me pull through it. And yeah, like I've also been keeping up with the regulars, Toriko and Bleach, but I'm a little behind on those two. I haven't read the last few chapters, but I'm for the most part caught up.
Bleach has slowed down dramatically because now it's like everyone, we have to regroup and get back to the Soul King area.
Yawak is such a fucking... He's such a villain, Sue. And it's so annoying that they have to do this now because it's like, you just got up there and then you got knocked down. What the fuck?
Yeah, Yawak looks gross now, so he's gonna lose.
Yeah. I'm assuming. I'm assuming Aizen's probably... You're Leon, give them your surefire theory of what's going to happen in the end. How they're going to beat Yawak.
Oh, what was it?
Like, Aizen's going to give Ichigo his powers.
Yeah, Aizen is going to be like, hey, remember that jewel that I was keeping? Here, you can have it now. Yeah, use it to go God mode and defeat Yawak. You have the Hogyoku now, so go nuts. You're a good guy. I'm a bad. Like they figure out how to get it out of him, like while he's in prison. Like if they do that, that is like such a call right there. Like you're gonna hear from us in a podcast if that ends up happening. Leon's gonna go nuts. Now you're God Bankai, Super Bankai now.
But yeah, Bleach is it's stupid, but whatever. I keep up with it because I'm far enough. It didn't piss me off to where I dropped Naruto mid like final arc because I'm like, well, they're dead. There's no result that'll come out of this that I'm, not gonna hate.
I finished it, washed my hands of it, and I'm not gonna go back and read Boruto.
Boruto sounds like a fucking like shitty bootleg.
It does.
Naruto.
I know it's supposed to translate out as Bolt, but no, it's Boruto.
It's Boruto.
The Adventures of Boruto and Salad.
That's different now too, though. Like, I don't know. So, yeah, like just it's all right. Toriko's great. I think that like it was a little bit unnecessary for them to put in yet another training arc to fight the Monkey King. It's like, stop it with the training arcs, guys. Enough, please. You're breaking the pace.
It was. I think we already talked about this.
Yeah, briefly, I think, but I like Toriko. It's good. What else have I been watching? I've been watching Fringe in terms of just the good old American TV. And Fringe is awesome. Like, it's so good. And I brought it up in the last podcast too, but I'm in season 2 and it's still good. Like, it's so good. I just got done watching an episode where they found another super soldier project druggie, because that's a thing in this series. Like, this series, again, starts off very Twilight Zone, but then turns into its own thing involving other dimensions and super soldiers. But the super soldiers thing is pretty downplayed. They don't really use it too much. But this was like the second time it was used. And the first time was in the first season. But in this season, we have a guy who has basically perpetual cancer. And like he just has cancer. And then this guy's like, oh, this mysterious man walks into the hospital where he was. And he's like, I can make your cancer better. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah. So he, air quote, makes his cancer better by making it so that if he can now give someone else his cancer by touching them, which temporarily cures him of his cancer, but he has to keep giving people cancer.
There's a dude like that in Misfits.
Is there really?
Yeah. He's a one-off guy, though.
This guy's one-off, too. But you feel really bad for him because at first he had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, just this girl gets super cancer and dies. And he's like, what? And then, like, as it goes on, it's like, oh, this is what I can do. So then, like, when it came to the point where he found the main character, like, he actually tried to attack her knowing what he can do. And then he sees all the pictures that she gathered of all the other test subjects, and he just broke down crying. And it's like, you feel really bad for the guy because there's, like, he didn't ask for this, Like, he was experimented on. It sucks. But, yeah, I thought that was a really interesting power. I thought that was cool. And also, there was another little arc where there was a town of mutants. But, like, they were only mutants when they went outside of the town. Because when they were in the town, there was, like, a satellite that was keeping them from looking ugly and deformed. And I thought that was really interesting. So, yeah, great series. Again, can't recommend it enough. Really good. And also Game of Thrones is a thing. This season's okay. I think it's getting better as it's going on, but it didn't start out strong. And, it's Game of Thrones. What else can I say? A lot of blood and stuff. Sex, nudity. It's basically porn with a plot. But, yeah, so, anyway... let's move on now to our next topic of discussion, Age of Ultron. And do we have anything else?
But as a prelude to that, well, being transparent, they recorded the Ultron cast first, and I got to hear some of the audio. So Pat brought up the thing about Ant-Man, Hank Pym, and how he created Ultron in the first place, but they changed it in Age of Ultron. But if they would have went with the Hank Pym Ultron, they would have had to start from the beginning, I think.
I think so too. Ant-Man would have had to been there from the jump.
Yeah, and they would have had to start with the first Ultron story,
And
or they could have crowbarred Age of Ultron in as well, I suppose.
Yeah,
but also I think the Ultron, like Hank Pym, dynamic and relation is more close to actual like dirtbag, scumbag Hank Pym, and they're not gonna make him like a shitty, unlikable guy in the Ant-Man movies. I don't think so.
No. And not to mention the Ant-Man in the movies. I did point it out in the segment already, but I'm just gonna point it out for you, Leon. But the Ant-Man being represented in the Marvel movie is not Hank Pym, I don't believe. It's some guy who's a thief. And Hank Pym's like the older guy, I think, that you see in all the trailers. Could be wrong, fact check, comment if I'm wrong, but like I think that's what it is. Because again, they said Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a thief, not a scientist. So how would he make Ultron? Again, it just all comes down to creative liberty,
So instead of even it seems like instead of even dealing with Hank Pym, they're just kind of shoving him to the side altogether.
Yeah. So,
if he's gonna be in it, he's probably gonna be in it in a limited fashion.
Well, he's gonna be a main supporting character. I'm pretty sure. So he's like the guy who made the suit.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I guess we're gonna be talking about Ultron.
Or, hey, since he's a supporting character, they probably could still make him a complete irreprehensible scumbag.
Maybe.
Since he's not gonna be the superhero.
Yeah. Maybe. What else are we probably? We could also. In this podcast, have do you think we'd have the Parasite up by then? You think, or no?
Nah, I'm sticking to 2 parts.
Okay, so then it's just gonna be Ultron then.
Yep.
All right, so then here, without further ado, Age of Ultron, everybody. I'll see you on the flip. Fucking Leon's not there. So we're back here now with a different group of people. This time we have Casey. You can't.
Yeah, you sit
Casey.
there and wave your hand.
Yeah, you sit there and wave your hand to the people who can't see you waving your hand.
Why not? Don't you have a camera?
Well,
It's not on the budget.
Wait, so people just listen to you and that's it?
Maybe that's how a podcast is. That's how podcasts do.
Wait, what? That was a music video.
Well, you're a music video. Shut up.
That's not an answer.
Oh wait,
nobody reads this
I did
flyer?
this before, right?
This guy calling me a music video over here is Patrick Bard.
I'm not a music video. Wait, you called me? Oh, I called you a music video. What?
Yeah, now you're a music video. This is all like paradox.
Yeah, apparently I'm the
Dude,
only
this
one
is the
with
music video podcast, everyone. Yeah, he did it.
God damn it, YouTube.
And also we have Shaquille from the Lakers.
Oh,
Not the
yeah.
right basketball team, but
Aren't you the guy who tripped over at Fox or the ESPN?
What?
Like broke like a few $100 worth of equipment.
It was delicious.
Do you know?
Wait, what?
You know what I'm talking about? You hear about the thing? Like Shaq was doing like some kind of like ESPN. Like,
No one cares.
and he
Anyway.
fell, and, like, broke, like,
and we have 2 other guests as well, but they don't really want to be a part of it because they're cool guys.
Too cool for school.
But for real, Phil's here, but he doesn't have much. He's seen it, but he doesn't have much to say. Kenny hasn't seen it, but he doesn't care.
Why'd you even mention they're here? Like, they don't need to know that.
They might say something, and then they'll be the listeners will be like, "What?"
Well, apparently you don't have a camera, so they can't see them.
Maybe I'm just really good at voice acting. You don't know.
So here we are. We're talking about Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Wait, I thought this is the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
The Sisterhood of
Nobody
the...
reads the flyer. Swear to God.
You're...
Where the fuck am I?
Oh, you're in a void. Anyway.
Well, there were plenty of flyers in Bob's trunk.
Oh, plenty.
You can't read in the dark. I've been there since like last night. Just get stuff in there.
So this is the second in the Avengers movie and one of like the hyped up things in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it stars one of my favorite villains, Ultron. So I'm going to be extra critical about this movie.
Well,
boy.
and it stars my favorite villain, Tony Stark.
who was a pretty good villain in this movie. Not gonna lie.
I
Not
do
gonna
have
lie.
one question regarding the movie and just how they're releasing the movies. They have confirmed they're doing Ant-Man, which will be coming out like late this year, early next year.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they wait to release Age of Ultron until Ant-Man came out so they actually could have him create Ultron?
Because
Hype
Hollywood. I don't know.
But that makes no. That actually, if they waited like a year, or like honestly, if they waited a year, we probably got even. They probably got the rights to actually include more details.
I feel like-
Honestly, I think it was really just a matter of lack of foresight because I don't think when they were making Age of Ultron, they weren't thinking about Ant-Man or anybody else. They were just thinking of how do we make the sequel.
But in,
Like,
in all actuality,
actually-
when you're doing research on a character, especially a well-defined universe such as Marvel, sorry DC, Ant-Man is all over Ultron's backstory. He's the guy who created the machine. So when they're doing the research to make the movie, writing the script, they have constantly seen the name Hank Pym come out. They've been making a movie about him that's going to be coming out soon. Why not wait for Ultron, for Ant-Man to come out, then have him be part of the Avengers for Ultron?
Well, I don't think it's a lack of foresight because if you've ever seen like that one picture, they have like all the next couple movies they're gonna do for pretty much the next decade all lined up and ready to go. So it's definitely not a lack of foresight. They are so confident they're gonna keep making movies and just keep shitting on DC that like they
How dare you accuse Disney of lack of foresight?
Yeah.
They raised us.
Not to cut you guys off, but sorry, there's something with the audio that I just need to check. One sec, guys. And we're back.
Where'd we go?
What?
Where'd we go?
We went nowhere. I just wanted to test the audio and
We
stuff
went
because
nowhere,
this
then
is
we're
my
not
first
back.
time messing with the snowball by myself. And as you guys can see, I forgot to mention, Leon is not with us because he hasn't seen the movie either, and he also doesn't care to see the movie.
Snowballing is gross.
Thank you.
all right. Anyway,
So back to the whole situation with Hank Pym.
Well, yeah, what I was saying is, it's definitely not a lack of foresight because, like I just said, they have like all the next few movies laid out. I think it was actually just a conscious choice. They specifically wanted to tie Tony Stark into his story instead of Hank Pym because, you know, Ant-Man isn't out yet, and Hank Pym is not a household name the way Tony Stark has become since the first few
And
movies.
I don't think the Ant-Man in Ant-Man that's coming out is Hank Pym. I think the older guy in the trailer is Hank Pym.
Oh.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because this Ant-Man's a thief. That's what he is.
No, but also it raises another question though, because let's look at exactly how Disney/Marvel is marketing these characters. They bring in billions of dollars of revenue a year.
Mm-hmm.
Not billions, is like a very much number. I mean, a few hundred million a year just for movies alone, right?
A very considerable sum.
A stupidly considerable sum.
Enough to buy a handful of third world countries.
Oh, yeah,
a handful?
definitely.
How about anyway? Let's avoid the races here. But,
Disney has big hands.
I'm saying, let's they have. Why not actually make Ant-Man, if not Hank Pym himself, but they have a more marketable character because they're not doing Black Widow for whatever reason. So why not have another character do it? And I'm looking at the new Ant-Man design, and I'm kind of feeling it. I'm liking what they're doing.
I really like the new Ant-Man design.
And he seems like a guy you actually can market. Now, hopefully, Marvel will do it this time and not make a video game about the movie. That's what I hope they
Can we
don't
not
do.
talk about any of the Marvel video games like ever?
That's
Like,
not
new Iron Man
that's
1.
not even Marvel's fault. It's like
Yeah.
that's just.
It is Marvel's fault because they signed the agreement to let them.
I'm
They
market
saying-
it.
don't really
saying
care.
that's
Just
not-
make a thing.
I'm saying that's not
dude.
exclusively their fault because all video games based on most video games based on movies are terrible.
Aragon the game.
Anyway,
Let's get back
Why
onto
do you
the
listen to me?
but
sub.
I was saying. I mean, that actually is a good point. Like, why aren't they trying to make Ant-Man into a more household name, or like Hank Pym specifically? Because God knows, before Guardians of the Galaxy came out, be honest, no one knew who the hell these people were.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Rocket Raccoon had some FaceTime.
I think
And
Rocket Raccoon-
and actually most of them actually did have a decent amount of FaceTime. If you actually were a Marvel fan, you did know about these guys.
But Rocket
Yeah,
Raccoon.
if you were a Marvel fan.
Yeah.
If you're a Marvel fan,
But
like, if
outside
you're
of
not-
that, it may be Rocket Raccoon. Maybe. But
Groot's pretty well
I'm saying,
known.
like, before the first Iron Man movie, and they started really like going on that, like Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, like the only real. I mean, maybe Wonder Woman, like the only
Wolverine.
household names.
Wolverine.
No, not even Wolverine.
Hulk,
No,
Captain America.
no. At the time, honestly, no.
I strongly disagree.
actually, the X-Men were, but Captain America probably not. But my main thing is like I kind of like what they did because it wasn't just Tony Stark who made it. Bruce Banner helped him, and I'm like, okay, so they're just putting their scientific minds together to make this evil robot that they had good intentions with, but then ultimately it became sentient.
It follows the spirit of the law, the word of the law, not the spirit.
Yeah.
Of the law.
Well, what I was trying to get to, though, I think the fact they specifically wanted it to be Tony Stark because, like I said before, Ultron himself, honestly, I didn't think he was that great a villain. I think the best villain of the movie was Tony Stark. Because that's the thing. Like, I think because the next one coming up is Civil War, they were kind of pushing. I think that they're trying to build up Tony Stark's dark side.
Yeah, and I think we should get to the general setup for the movie, though.
Oh, you have a spoiler warning in this.
Spoiler warning! Yes, we don't care. We're spoiling this movie,
spoiling all of it.
We were 5 minutes,
but we didn't really give that many spoilers. Just like why isn't Hank Pym in this movie? He's not in this movie. So,
I mean, we did say the thing that like Tony Stark was kind of evil, as opposed to just being generally an asshole. Now he
he's not evil.
No, he's
ambitious. That's what I want to use for this. He's not evil. He's ambitious.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker was just ambitious.
His lofty dreams for what he wants to happen with mankind is just that he is human, and also he's a human who went from making pretty cool toys to now dealing with gods and aliens. And honestly, his fear is well placed.
Yeah,
like one of his closest friends can level a city.
Yeah.
Two of his closest friends can level a city.
So basically,
he can level a city.
He can level a city.
Yeah, and the whole thing starts off with like they're raiding a Hydra base in
which is pretty well done.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
I think it was a really good scene, but mind you, I haven't been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because, well, I don't watch things that are boring. But things like right after the Avengers, not the Avengers 2, after Winter Soldier, they were building up. Strucker has Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And, they're going to bring back Hydra, and it's going to be this huge deal. And, well, spoiler warning, they basically just completely fucking deal with all of Hydra in, like, the opening 5 minutes.
Basically in the span of half an hour.
It wasn't half an hour.
Well,
it was less than that.
We don't know for sure if it's all of Hydra, because remember, they keep coming back.
Yeah,
they hit a big installation.
Well, yeah, cut off one head, two more will take its place, but
that's a lot of heads.
Still,
they killed the main threat. The threat that was teased at the end of, I think, at the end of the last Captain America movie.
Yeah,
the guy with the little
monster. That's Baron Strucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they teased him at the end of Winter Soldier, and
he was such a letdown.
Yeah, I mean,
he got wrecked.
Well, that's the thing. I did mention though, I haven't been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe they did something with him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like in between the movies. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't get too far in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's boring.
I hear season 2 is a lot better, but then you still need to go through season 1.
No. Well, apparently, it gets good once they tie into Winter Soldier, but let's not get into that too far. But yeah, the thing is, like, as far as he goes in this movie, whatever he may have done in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., in this movie, he appears, they kick his ass, and then the plot starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he felt very separated.
Like, I mean, he was as lasting and essential to the plot as like a Simpsons couch gag.
I feel like the main thing he was essential with was just like where Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver came from.
They didn't even go into any detail about that. Just like, he did science and now they have powers.
Remember, and just to clarify to the viewers too, there was a good like solid hour and a half cut from the theatrical version of the movie. So for all we know, there could be some details that aren't there. But still, we're judging it from what we've been watching, and he did feel like he was ultimately kind of just a separate thing. I do see that. Yeah.
Actually, Bob, I didn't know they cut out that much. I mean, they cut out like an hour. That's
apparently the final build was
that's a whole other movie,
really long. Yeah, that's like what they did with Daredevil. Like the original theatrical release of Daredevil was garbage, but then the director's cuts like millions better because you have everything. Like, not saying it's like better than the current Daredevil series, but it was okay. It was good. But back to Avengers. So one thing they do find is Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who in this series aren't mutants. They're creative liberty, whatever.
Well, yeah, creative liberties. I know, like, they are an important part of the Avengers team, but if they're not going to combine it with the X-Men universe, did they really need to use them that badly? Because let's be honest, throughout the whole movie, they didn't really need to be there.
No, I feel like if anything, Scarlet Witch at least did a little more than Quicksilver with the whole like she's just touching people and doing the whole just visions. like to kind of like rile everybody up. If anything, that was something.
She gave us a Hulkbuster fight scene. That was pretty awesome. But
she gave us a Hulkbuster fight scene, and then like some parts at the end involving her character. You know, she had a good amount of screen time. I think not enough.
I'm saying like the movie could have gone without a hitch if they weren't there.
Yeah, I think that they were just ultimately there just to kind of be like Spankies for a little while until they eventually joined the team.
Well, about that.
Yeah, so we'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. So, yeah, these two new, like, villains show up, and actually Scarlet Witch's intro, I have to admit, they kind of, like, creeped it up like some The Grudge shit with that.
Yeah, no,
I love that.
Alright, yeah. I think they were convoys. They weren't important enough, but they still did do a good job with them.
Yeah, they had some great moments. I mean,
I kind of like Days of Future Past Quicksilver better
because
but
they
this
had
one
more
is
time
more.
to.
This one is more accurate.
Honestly, compared to Days of Future.
He looks more accurate, but Days of Future Past was too good.
Like Days of Future Past, like both Scarlet Witch and
Scarlet Witch wasn't in Days of Future.
Sorry, for Quicksilver at least, just at least he had more time to just sit down and like cook with everybody. But it just to me his existence there just felt like, okay, why are you here?
Yeah,
exactly?
maybe like 4 whole lines in the movie.
Yeah, and like most of it was just like bitching about like how the Stark family almost killed them.
Again, Scarlet Witch talked way more than him, and that's not saying much.
Yeah.
But like at least with Days of Future Past, like we got to see Quicksilver's personality and everything else.
He had a really good
Included.
scene.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like if they were just there to push the whole angle of Tony Stark almost killed us. He did kill their family, I think, or something like that. His
family killed their family.
Well, his technology killed their family.
Yeah.
No, his whole thing that he's angst about, the fact that his technologies kill people. Like they pretty much covered that whole angle in like the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah,
and even
I mean, admittedly, there's it is a big deal. There's probably still far-reaching effects, but
and even then, for someone who's supposed to be like really angsty about it, he didn't really feel all that angsty about it. He was just like,
it's basically rehash. And again, an hour of cut footage, maybe there was something, but whatever.
I guess, but like...
Honestly, I feel like it was kind of the same... I feel like it was kind of the same deal with, like, Thor: The Dark World, how the actual plot was honestly really just a setup for another one of the side characters. Like, in Thor: The Dark World, the villain is just so terribly forgettable. Like, the movie really was just about Loki.
Loki and Thor.
Like... No, it was like more about Loki than any character. Like he didn't get top billing in the movie, but God knows everyone loves him ever since Tumblr saw the first Avengers. But that's the thing. Like in this one, I kind of felt like Ultron. They basically gave him the same treatment as Malekith. Yeah, I actually remember his name. Yeah, like he was kind of just there, like Monster of the Week. They beat him. And then they moved on. The only lasting thing is that we see, like, that Tony Stark has a bit of a dark streak.
Yeah. So, anyway, as we were going on, so Tony Stark finds these new, like, machines and stuff within the Hydra base. And then, while looking at it, Scarlet Witch gives him a vision where he's just standing in front of all of his comrades, just dying.
They were all dead.
Yeah, they were all dead.
And Captain America's shield was broken.
Yeah, like there was a big rip, like that big hole that was already there in the sky. All the aliens are going through it and stuff.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be like a vision of, what if he didn't do that Hail Mary nuke pass.
Mm-hmm. So basically that got him really afraid. So behind the back of most of his teammates, because he felt Cap would probably.
No, it wasn't just Hydra technology specifically. It was Loki's staff.
Yes. And, he didn't want Cap to get in the way or anybody to get in the way, so, other than Bruce Banner. So him and Bruce basically got together, put their minds together, and made this new AI. Kind of modeled around Jarvis. Did they say that it was? Or no? Was it separate?
No, that's what they did later.
Yeah. So
it was just, because, he decided, the fact that they survived the first Avengers movie was, like, it was just a fluke. They need to be ready next time. As he put it, I thought it was actually a pretty good line. Like, yeah. I want to put a suit of armor around the world.
Yeah, that was great. And so him making Ultron,
the thing is though, like, even then, like Ultron's whole doomsday philosophy didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Again,
like,
we'll get into that. But
Well, yeah, I mean, the way it happens is he starts programming the thing, like, using, like, crazy magical Asgardian shit that he cannot possibly comprehend, because Thor literally said, oh yeah, you can borrow it over the weekend, and, like, do whatever science you want to do with it.
Yeah.
What could go wrong? And then, like, he starts programming it, and then, I shit you not, he fucking leaves and goes to a party, and then tells Jarvis to watch it for him.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And
it's
then
the blind leading the blind. Yes, you have a piece of technology. You watch a piece of technology that's much more powerful than it, and you don't know what it's capable of doing. What's the worst that could happen? Want a movie, please?
Yeah. Admittedly, though, the party scene that followed that was really good. It was funny. I liked it. It was charming.
No, it was. I enjoyed it, but like
especially the Thor hammer pulling contest. That was great.
You ever seen a man get shook? That was it.
That was it.
yeah, they're all messing around like trying to pull Thor's hammer. Like Tony Stark actually like pulls out one of Iron Man's gloves and tries to pull it out. Then him and War Machine both pull with like rockets shooting out of the gloves trying to pull out.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
And then
and then they go to Steve Rogers, who actually does nudge it a bit.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah, then like you watch Thor's balls drop for a second there.
Yeah. He's like, oh, good, he's not. He's not worthy.
What? Oh, okay.
So after all that, then disgruntled-looking, crappy-looking robot shows up, and it turns out, hey, it's Ultron. He's evil now. He took over all the Iron Man suits, which makes sense.
Oh, the little Iron Man drones that are easily defeated by the real Iron Man suits.
Yeah, no, but like it made sense that he immediately took over the Iron Man drones. That was very Ultron-like, because if I could make an apt comparison in what's it called, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, this basically the same thing happened when he was turned on in that show. Like all of Tony Stark's suits were pitted against the Avengers and such. I thought it was cool. Like I like that little scene, and I love. And to get into it now, I really enjoyed Ultron's actor. Who was his actor again? His voice actor?
I don't know.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, but whoever it was, he did a great job. Like just giving life to this character, but. See that there's.
I think they gave a little too much life.
They gave him a little too much life. See, that's the problem. As a big fan of Ultron, I know for a fact that Ultron should be a soulless killing machine that's misguided, like just completely. And like in this movie, it's like yes, he's misguided, but then he also is funny and tells jokes and is like a fucking like a kid time villain. I'm like, stop. Why?
I guess the point of that was he got that from. Because when he was made, he was going through all the databanks. Apparently, he was mostly looking up stuff on Tony Stark. So, this thing, like, when he's being all jokey like that... Actually, no, apparently his voice actor was Robert Downey Jr.
When,
like, every time he's making those jokes, he talks in, like, a...
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, he talks in Tony Stark's voice, just with a little bit of, garbling.
Oh, and it was James Spader who voiced him, so, I don't think I've seen any movies with him in it, but he did a really good job.
I'll say, I remember when he was making most of those jokes, though, he sounded just like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and I think that was intentional.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, actually, it might have been like the two of them. Like James Spader was probably when he's being, serious killbot, and Robert Downey Jr. is when he's, playing, Robo Drunk.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Like I just thought that like his entrance was really cool, and then we get to see his body, his full on just Ultron body, and I gotta say, while I thought it looked pretty cool, I hated the face, and I thought it looked way too much like a creation of Michael Bay.
I think
those lips.
I think what they were trying to do with it was trying to have some kind of throwback towards like the Uru technology that Asgardians have. That's strange, like a Esper, like you ever play Magic the Gathering? Esper,
yeah.
I know the design to throw back to that.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't even think so because
I do. I feel like they tried to.
Even then, I feel like it was kind of a weird bait and switch because the initial promotional photos for the movie showed Ultron with his normal Ultron face, and honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with his Ultron face. It's pretty much timeless.
Things they had that in the movie. Besides, the main body, which apparently they call it Ultron Prime,
yes.
They I guess, to give the actor that much more credentials, they wanted they mocapped it so he had like lips and stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that just kind of made him look like a little too.
It
made
the whole mouth movement.
I think their biggest issue with Ultron in this movie was the fact that they tried to make him almost too human.
Yeah.
The thing about it, he's supposed to be this cold alien entity that is supposed to be whatever his objective is for that volume. He's supposed to be above and beyond what humans concern themselves with.
Not exactly.
But the thing about it, though, it most likely
in the comics he has like serious daddy issues.
He has daddy issues.
No, that is
by far.
That is more than that.
Daddy and son issues.
I know more than that, but I'm saying that usually when it comes to Ultron, he just will try to get the job done.
Yeah. As fast as possible.
But the thing about Ultron doesn't have from the comics I have read. I'm not saying I've read all of them, but he doesn't have these one-liners and quips. I think honestly they made him too funny.
They made him too funny. They made him too down to earth. And I think
during the movie, I was like, okay, cool. He's actually lots of technology. I didn't even think he was as a movie villain. I was like,
he felt less like the villain and more like the guy you hang out with on an occasion.
He felt like the Goblin King.
He felt like an afterthought. I feel like this movie was more about the team and Tony Stark more so than actually the main villain. Yeah. And it sucks. But
that's the thing, though.
But didn't we go through that already? With the first one? I thought the first Avengers was more about the team coming together.
No, this is about the team falling apart. But I was saying, in terms of making him too funny, I think you have to wonder, though, maybe they just didn't want to... They wanted to avoid making him, too boring and serious like Malekith.
Yeah,
because Malekith is entirely forgettable. There's nothing to his character.
You could have just... I guess you had to make him somewhat memorable, but even then, when he shows up, when he has his body, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't, take advantage of his internet-bending powers until, pretty much towards the end of the movie. And even then, this is, very... baby's first Ultron.
As they said, I mean, he's all over the internet. He's going to be, launching nukes left and right, but... Yeah, he just doesn't really do anything. He makes a body for himself, and he gets he gets in a fist fight with Captain America, and then the finale.
Well, no, he fights when they go to and then in the next scene when they go to what's Black Panther's Wakanda. When they go to Wakanda, Tony Stark has a little bit of a tussle with him, but
he did.
But that is the scene that you can just say, okay, this is pretty much every other Ultron scene in the whole movie. Basically, just him hey, I'm gonna fight one guy. By the way, you two, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, go get him. Just go get him. You're my lackeys. Instead of just making more Ultron robots. Yeah, he'll have one or two Ultron robots with him, but not an army. You'd expect him to have an army by now. You saw how many robots there were in that base. So many.
Let's see what amount.
Or, I mean, hell, did you see the posters for this movie?
Yeah, where they're swimming in Ultron.
I think that was the biggest letdown of this. I was expecting some kind of, just dragged out, knockout brawl between the Avengers, a few of the friends, and a Horizon's worth of Ultron robots.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a war of attrition.
I didn't get that.
Yes,
and honestly, I agree here with Casey. He was a boring villain. He wasn't a legitimate. I didn't feel like he was a legit threat.
Yeah. So moving on though, the scene where they go to Wakanda. What was going on there again? Why was Ultron there again?
He was trying to get vibranium.
Yeah, to build himself an indestructible body, and also help construct the magnetism shaft.
Yeah.
To drop a city.
That's right. So the Avengers intercept them. Iron Man fights Ultron. And
to his credit, he did have some pretty good lines.
He did.
He was quoting something Tony Stark said, something about business. I don't remember, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But also, apparently, in the cinematic universe, and actually maybe in the comics, I'll have to double check that. He was saying that vibranium had some kind of property that made it compatible with pseudo-organics. Yeah. So he was going to make a pseudo-organic body about it, and one line the humans are so primitive they could use this to combine with their own flesh, and what do? They make a frisbee out of it.
That was a good line. That was a really good quip. But anyway, so yeah, they there's a big battle that goes on, and then what's really interesting is Scarlet Witch basically just mind fucks people, which leads to a bunch of teasers for other Marvel movies, essentially.
Pretty much.
Black Widow's past, which we'll get to, and what's it called? What else happened? Oh yeah, she made the Hulk go Hulk, but angry Hulk, and just go terrorizing the city.
So she's the reason for the Hulkbuster fight.
Yeah, basically,
to put a pause on that for a second. My biggest issue with this movie, I feel not the movie, but that whole segment, that chapter of the movie, was we got to see everyone else's horrific nightmares and what they were afraid of, but we see Hulk reacting to something, freaking out about something or someone.
We don't see what that is.
And I was like, and I feel like they filmed it, but they cut it out for whatever reason.
Yeah, that was probably part of the cut out footage.
I feel honestly, have they actually kept it in, it probably like, yeah, cool. It'll take like actually 5 minutes, whatever. They're like 2 hours anyway. It doesn't matter. The movie's awesome, but like I feel that would offer some insight as to exactly what Bruce Banner is going through and who he is as a character. Right now, for the Marvel,
I think we have a pretty good idea of what it would have been.
But
by the way,
but it's not the same. Assuming it's the same as actually seeing it.
Yeah,
it also,
exactly.
It shows some like what's up.
One thing I also wanted to point out that I totally forgot to bring up, like, because it was so whatever, was like the forced romance between Bruce Banner and Black Widow.
Yeah, I actually did want to get into that, and that was probably one of the most awkward things.
That felt shoehorned like hell.
It was
like,
so
at first I dug it because it's like, oh, you know, they developed a way for her to calm Hulk down. Oh, that's really cool. But then it's like, oh no, now it's a
love story.
Now it's a love story, and now it's just weird.
But it's just like,
and out of
you
place.
don't even talk to Bruce Banner. Like, not even in the first movie. How did this come to this?
I mean, considering their past, it's believable enough, but there was just no build-up to it.
It really
wasn't. It just started happening all of a sudden.
Yeah, just like, why is this a thing?
Again, if it was just like the whole, like, oh, hey, she found a countermeasure to make Hulk, like, just, nah. But even then, it's like, I mean, but then...
I'm gonna show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy.
And we're back. Fuck Ultron. He's messing with our audio. This guy is an asshole.
He's a freaking time waster.
He's really persistent today.
Yeah, he kept messing with the microphone. Like, even my computer was lying to me and was like, the blue snowball is plugged in. When it wasn't, and we lost a half hour of audio.
Alright, here's my fault. I think Ultron's done more in this podcast than he did in the movie.
Yeah, I think...
You know what? At first I thought he was a swell guy, and then he starts doing this.
We need Leon.
We
lost without him.
Leon, no! Come back!
Well, Leon didn't see the movie, so...
He didn't, but he's going to listen to this anyway, so I guess that defeats the purpose.
I think that's our weakness here.
Anyway, so, so, like, the back on topic with the Hulkbuster and Hulk fight. Honestly,
is that what we were on?
Yes. I thought it was the best fight in the whole movie, because I really liked the idea that it was basically kind of unpredictable. It was one of the only unpredictable fights in the whole movie. I mean, it was unpredictable, because just going by the trailers and I guess how it usually goes in the comics, I thought Hulk was going to win. Yeah, no, like...
I was pleasantly surprised he didn't, but I thought Hulk was going to
win.
There were some pretty close
honestly,
calls, though.
I feel like, honestly, it could have went either way, and, you know, I wasn't disappointed by it. It was really fun. It was a really great fight. It wasn't predictable. And it was akin to that scene in the first movie with, where they were on the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier and had to deal with, like, the exploding engine and Thor.
Well, I think this was a lot worse than that.
A lot worse, but it was in the same vein where it's like, oh, how are they going to solve this? You don't know what's going to happen. You do know they're going to come out of it okay, but you don't know what's going to happen.
That's the thing, that you're not sure they're going to come out okay. You know they're going to come out alive because if they die after...
there's going to be a third Avengers movie, so I'm pretty sure it'll be okay.
That is cold, good writing and choreography.
Well, we may not know they're going to come out okay because Quicksilver.
Well, not really choreography.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to him later.
So... Yeah, so they fight in the big city, and then Hulk sees that there's a bunch of like people that are scared of him.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff happened in between that.
Yeah,
people got punched.
Yeah, so also like I thought that was another moment. I'm surprised like no one called this out like right after we saw it in the theaters, but like Tony Stark had basically a piloted weapon of mass destruction hiding out in space, specifically designed for the sole purpose of taking down one of his own friends, and like no one calls him out on that.
Well, honestly, do you really call him out on that? Because like, who else would you look into to stop a thing like the Hulk? Let's say because we saw the first Hulk movies and they were as bad as they were.
Well, honestly,
those aren't canon.
The Incredible Hulk was good.
Okay, let's say those aren't even canon, but let's look over here at the first Avengers. I'm glad you can hear me. Let's look at the first Avengers. We watched how strong Hulk is. With one fist and a wind-up punch, he knocked out a couple 100-ton monster out of the sky. What conventional weapons do we have to stop that?
No, understandable. It was definitely good that Tony had the Hulkbuster, or that could have gone a lot worse.
But then why is there any reason to call him out on that? There is none.
No. Well,
we have a military, but we're not in active war right now.
No, like I was saying, no, it is good that he had that, but I think that still kind of ties into the whole, pretty much, I think, a bigger theme in the movie than Ultron himself. That when when the time comes, Tony Stark is preparing to take down the other Avengers.
Right.
Still less collateral damage.
No, I agree. It was definitely good that the Hulkbuster was made because he used it to save people. And before I was saying comparing that to the disaster of the disaster scene that was Man of Steel.
Best Dragon Ball Z movie ever created.
Like right before Hulkbuster slams him through a building, like he makes sure the building, he has Jarvis scan the building, says no life signs detected, and then
he shoots rockets into it to make sure it collapses down on top of them too.
Jarvis?
I can't think they actually did that pretty much just to say,
Jarvis, help me buy a new building.
No, it's like, look at this. We had Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. We caused less damage in a small South African city than all of Man of Steel. The guy who pretty much does not like destroying buildings.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think they actually specifically did that as a way to say, look, we cause less collateral than Man of Steel.
Yeah.
With the Hulk.
With more powerful characters.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say more powerful, but if not more powerful, the Hulk is definitely better known for his collateral damage than Superman.
That's the Hulk's marketing point, the fact that he hit shit good.
Iron Smash!
But isn't his title Worldbreaker?
Yeah.
No, that's something else.
But basically, this fight showed off a really strong point of the movie and shows, yes, this movie definitely has its moments, and I do think it's probably one of its strongest moments in terms of fight scenes, anyway. Everything was just on point, but just after this, then we go to Hawkeye's house, which, because they cause so much collateral, they don't want to be out in the general public. Well,
also they kind of got their butts kicked, and they weren't around, New York where the rest of their stuff was, because I think by then that was all compromised by Ultron.
Yeah. So they're trying to hide away from Ultron and his influence, although he really didn't do much with his influence, but I digress. So...
Well, don't just digress. That is a pretty good point. They're saying, he's in the internet now, so, who knows the kind of damage he could do. They actually say, we're kind of surprised he isn't launching nukes left and right.
Yeah. It's just so...
I was surprised, too. That would have made a hell of a distraction.
Right. So they go to Hawkeye's house, and one of my other favorite parts in the movie, they're fleshing out Hawkeye more in this movie, because they're not going to give him his own movie.
Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. Also... He's done that damn bow flick motion. I hated that. When he flip out the bow, it's like,
get over it.
Get over it.
I'm not gonna get over that because that was stupid. And the reason why I got over it because they always made it the center of the camera shot when he fucking did it. It was always that dynamic. Yeah. Cool. He's locked and locked. No, you're using a fucking bow. Get over it. You're not that cool.
He's a comic book superhero. Get over it.
No, I will not get over it. That was like a spy.
Are you gonna get Milkman Wolverine every time he poses when his claws come out?
Right?
Yes! That's stupid.
I could go into why I feel like Hugh Jackman isn't a great Wolverine, but anyway, I digress.
We'll save that for another time.
We'll save that for another time.
Now that's an interesting discussion.
Don't talk to them like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Anyway, so they go to Hawkeye's house, and they meet his family. He has 2 kids and a wife, and
what a twist!
What a twist! And it's cool. It gives him a little bit of a personal thing. Oh, and also Nick Fury's hanging out in his barn. Just because.
Because that's what the leader of one of the most powerful government agencies on the planet. You hide in a man's barn.
Of all places to hang out, why here? I like the fireplace.
Well, also
it was a fucking tractor in there.
Well, also the point was it was off of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s grid. Apparently everything Nick Fury had,
it's off of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s grid, including the grid.
He was so astonishingly well prepared for the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. that
when he was bored, he was off the grid. It's like his mom was like, no, don't put this on the grid, man. Don't put any papers.
I'm pretty sure when he was bored, he controlled the entire hospital's just system.
Yeah,
there was a backup just in case.
Well, you saw his messed up eyes, an extra security thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really funny.
I'm sorry, but is he really just getting calls from cable? In the background. That's the only plausible explanation I can get from this. Is in about 5 seconds you're about to get bodied by whatever villain of the day. Go hide off the grid again.
So yeah, basically this is kind of the point where the movie kind of slows down and gives us some more intimate character moments, the forced romance with Hulk and freaking Black Widow.
Intimate.
Against that.
Intimate.
It's stupid.
I mean, given their characters, I can kind of see if they really wanted to ship them, but there was just no build-up for it.
It was... Like
I
said, the part where, in the beginning, where Hulk was Hulk, and she was trying to get him out of Hulk with, like, the song, and, like, you know, like, being a gentle, kind of like...
This is what happens when Disney takes over Marvel.
Well, shut up, okay? Anyway, like I was saying, I thought it was a really neat little thing. I'm like, oh, that's great. It's showing off how they're such good friends that this can be a thing now. No, it's more than that. They're just getting together now. I'm like, oh.
Okay, can we, like...
When?
First of all, not only when, just... A lot of their conversations just made absolutely no sense. Or just, like...
I was going to get to that.
Way out of like, not even out of context, just, like... Why did you say that?
There's... like, the word described as that relationship will be shoehorn.
Someone's phone's low.
That's my tablet.
Well, I was saying, like, besides the fact that there was, like, no chemistry in any of... Well, I guess they were only in one other movie together, but there was really no chemistry, nothing building up to this. It just kind of happened all of a sudden. But then, like, the compatibility they tried to come up with... Her whole thing was... Actually, Black Widow's backstory, I think, actually was handled pretty well. As part of her... You know, conditioning to become the perfect assassin. She was sterilized, which, you know, that's something that she's kind of not okay with today. That really bothers her, and understandably, that is pretty messed up. But you know, to be like the perfect assassin, they had to make sure that you know nothing would get in the way of the mission. So they basically wanted to deny her, you know, a romantic relationship like that.
It's true, but it's also the fact that
I was going to get to that.
Yeah,
but then she tries to say. Like, oh, Bruce, you think you're a monster, but look at me, I'm sterile. I'm a monster too. And I'm like, what?
It took me like a whole 2 minutes. Took me like a whole 2 minutes to try and process that. It's like, wait a second, you're seriously just trying to use the fact that you can't give birth to, in comparison to the guy who is literally a monster.
Like, what that I found this stupid because, like I said before, not being woman to not be able to give birth is a it can be a traumatic experience for women. Jesus. Anyway, like, but the fact of the matter though is that like you can't sit there and say the fact that I can't give birth is what makes me a monster because what kind of message does that send up to people? Like, versus the guy who levels cities with the wave of his hand.
She had a mound of better evidence.
She
killed people without batting an eye. Hundreds, if not thousands, in her line of work.
But the way they made it out to be was like this whole thing where she was sterilized. That was the red on her ledger that she was talking about. That was that.
Well, actually, as Shaq kind of gave me the idea earlier, that actually kind of reminds me of the movie League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, at least the movie version.
Wow, you should check if your mic is working. It's working. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying. Like, that was actually something they did with, again, a very similar character, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He was complaining to Captain Nemo that, his other side, the monstrous side, has killed people. And Captain Nemo basically just turns around and shuts him down and says, oh, you lost control and killed people. You poor thing. I killed people knowing exactly what I was doing. You think I don't have a guilty conscience? Shut the fuck up, scrub.
So was that movie even good?
No, but that's besides the point. Actually, it was okay, but that's...
It's still a good point that Black Widow should have just opened up with to begin with, that, like, you're not a monster. At least you're trying not to kill people. I've done it because it was my job, and I did it without even a thought.
If her vagina just came off her body and turned into Starro, then maybe she'd be a monster.
Like, that opened me up to a whole slew of images I don't want to have.
Sorry, listeners.
I love you.
Okay, Bob.
Technical port to a whole new level.
Yeah, where did that even... Also, Star was a DC character.
I know. Shut up. Starro, the evil starfish from outer space.
Like, what was that even?
That was a thing that came out of my mouth that you had to hear.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah. And also the woodcutting scene with freaking Captain America, with Steve Rogers and Tony Stark was pretty awkward.
Well,
but great.
Yeah, it made sense. They were kind of having a... Yeah, just
like, why would you lie to us talk?
While also having a dick-waving contest that he was clearly losing.
Yeah. Basically. And yeah, just like a lot of talks. Like Nick Fury goes through like what he's been doing, and like
he kind of didn't though. It was just
hey,
look, Nick
really.
Fury's here.
Well, not really, but he basically went over like the general thing with Ultron. Like I think he revealed what his plan was, right? Like with the body.
No,
I don't remember what Nick Fury even talked about.
Honestly, they didn't need Nick Fury in the movie. He was basically a fucking cameo.
Yeah.
I got some cursing.
You gotta pay Samuel Jackson for something.
Yeah, you do.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, I wonder why he wasn't in the movie. I guess I understand, like, Coulson wasn't in because he's still doing that awful show. The show that gets good later. But anyway, but yeah, that's the thing. After all that happened in The Winter Soldier, like, the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, there was such a mess left after the end of Winter Soldier, because that movie was fantastic. They had so much to work with, but they just wrapped it all up in, like, the first 5 minutes of this one.
Well, yeah, we talked about that already, though.
No, I think that got cut off.
No, it didn't.
Oh, it didn't?
We talked about it right at the beginning, and that was in part 2.
Well, no, I said later on I brought that up again with Nick.
Yeah.
The fact is, like... Actually, at the end of the movie, Nick's back directing S.H.I.E.L.D. again like nothing happened. Like, did the Winter Soldier not happen?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's back wearing, like, the fancy eye patch and the trench coat.
It was probably something that happened during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Had to have been.
No, I mean, over the course of this movie, he goes from hiding in a guy's shed to director of S.H.I.E.L.D. again. In this movie.
That's quite a jump.
Because I feel like the in-between was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, while the movie events were happening, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was going on. I think Nick Fury did cameo in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
possibly, but I'm saying, like, in this movie, unless, like, there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes that have not happened yet, are going to cover the in-between, or maybe they have happened in, like, the short time after the movie.
Yeah, I think the season finale recently happened, so I might check it out eventually, just for curiosity's sake. And honestly, as much as I don't care, I hear it's its own thing. I hear Agent Carter's a good show, too, so I might check that out also.
Maybe. But, well, that's the thing. Assuming they do explain it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that still kind of reflects poorly on this movie, because as a standalone movie, they cut out so much. I mean, honestly, it was kind of like when I walked into Star Wars Episode 3. Like, my dad's watching this like, the fuck is going on? Why does this guy have 4 arms? What is this shit? Because he didn't watch the Clone Wars cartoon. But
even then,
it's like the same thing.
Even then, the in-between of the Clone Wars cartoon and the movie, there was still a gap, which was now recently filled with the other Clone Wars cartoon, which it's pretty good. But we need to get back on topic. So,
well, my point was, though, as a standalone movie, it is missing so many essential chunks of story.
Yeah, it's a lot of plot holes and stuff that I unfortunately, like, if it's covered in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I still don't think that's great.
They're not really plot holes, and, like, it's not impossible for stuff to happen in between, it's just, they don't elaborate.
I think my problem is, like, even if it is incorporated in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you should never do that, because many of the people watching the Avengers don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so they're not gonna know. Like,
I can only imagine.
I doubt they do.
I can only imagine how...
I feel like only the hardcore, if you're really into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But not everybody watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean,
like,
I'm pretty hardcore into comics, at least, like, as far as my circle of friends goes. I'm always, like, gushing about how much better they are than those, stupid mangas they read, because, they're not printed backwards and they have color.
You talking about manga again, I'll cut your face.
Shots fired.
See?
Don't throw shade all of your direction. Don't talk about
but, like, even then, I just couldn't get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean,
I honestly might just give it a chance, just a few like I might try to like breathe through the first season and then just like struggle and then get to the good stuff. But either way, let's move on from here. So then we cut. Oh yeah, wait, Ultron's a villain. That's right. We totally forgot he's here. He's in this movie. He's doing a thing.
And he's not really all that threatening.
That movie's called Agent
No. We already covered that he's not that threatening. But like,
I think there's a part where we get to his plan.
this grand
Master plan.
Part one of his grand.
Oh, wait, no, the heist.
Yeah, the heist. Part one of his master
Well,
plan.
that's what I call it.
Yeah, part one of his master plan is basically making a body that would eventually be the Vision.
Which, I said before, to his credit, he does have some pretty good lines. Like, in the cinematic universe, I'm not sure if this applies in the comics too, but, vibranium has some properties that somehow it's, like, compatible with organics.
You already said this.
Did I?
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember which part that was.
Yeah, that's the problem when we lose a half hour of of audio.
No thanks to Ultron.
But let's focus on the now.
Oh wait, I'm repeating myself. I'm glitching.
Let's focus on the now, though. So Ultron is making this new body out of vibranium, and it's like, hey, it's my ultimate body. I'm gonna be so cool, right, guys? And then the Avengers are like, no, you're not. And like during this whole thing, Scarlet Witch actually jacks his mind and finds out, oh no, he wants to turn this whole country into a meteor and blow the fucking Earth up.
City, not a country.
Yeah, city.
Yeah, she did that when she tried scanning his new body's mind.
Yeah. So then, like, Ultron's like, well, no, don't betray me. What are you doing? And then the Avengers show up. Oh, you guys. And then he fights Cap one-on-one. That was stupid, but a pretty fun to watch fight. Until you realize that's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, don't just, like, breeze through that. I mean, like, as actually you were saying before in the comics...
Ultron can body the Avengers by himself.
And then some.
And then some.
Well, like, Captain America was just... block, block, block. I guess the point is, like, when he fought Tony before, you know, his tech is better than Tony's tech. But, you know, you can't build a real American. No, it's dumb.
It was well choreographed. Like, I really liked the stuff that Cap was doing. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was, but, like, he should not have lasted that long.
Yeah, it kind of harkened back to the Doc Ock and Spider-Man fight scene, but only because it was on a train.
Yeah. So, yeah, speaking of, I was saying how, you know, the Avengers end up taking his body in... Like, this should have been, you know, this was Ultron's, the first stage of his master plan, and he brought, like, 2 drones with him. It was Ultron Prime and, like, 2 henchmen.
Yeah.
That's... Yeah, I called them drones, but they were basically, like, robot henchmen.
Yeah, exactly. Scarlet Witch
like,
and Quicksilver already betrayed him at this point.
Yeah,
so.
the way they steal, it was so roundabout and, like, almost comical. I say it was basically just like an old-fashioned train heist.
Oh, darn it! Those Joes, they stole the Cobras.
No, it was like watching an old-fashioned train heist in like a spaghetti western.
I mean,
maybe that was the idea.
I'm still laughing at the fact that like how Ultron responds to how Scarlet Witch figures out his master plan. It's just like, you're planning to kill us all. It's like, no, guys, I'm totally not going to kill you all. I swear. It's just the ones that will survive will survive. It's going to be a good plan, I swear. No, guys, come on.
And then he kills someone.
But, I did kind of enjoy that. Like, instead of the usual villainous, no, he kind of just like, come on. Like, he was more annoyed.
Yeah, he kills someone and then goes, damn it, I didn't mean that, sorry.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he was, so, they steal the body, and then they go back to, like, the headquarters, and then they have, like, an argument. Well, before that,
also, I was going to say, to be fair, as silly as it sounds, his ultimate doomsday plan actually was a pretty cool metaphor, and like it kind of ties into the whole thing. He's planning to like raise an entire city and then like quickly crash it down into the earth, like basically the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. How, you know, the dinosaurs became extinct and humans took their place. Now he's saying, you know, once the dust clears, the only thing left standing will be metal, because you know, humans will become extinct, and then he'll replace them. It will become the Age of Ultron.
I just actually thought about something because of that plan. Okay.
What if the land collapses?
No, forget that. Okay, when the meteor hit the planet, right, when it's supposed to wipe out the dinosaurs, it created a thick cloud layer of dust and dirt and debris that blocked out the sun, right? Mm-hmm. You ever try to get a radio, like a satellite signal during a rainstorm?
Not fun.
No.
It doesn't happen. And he operates wirelessly via satellite.
Not always.
A lot of information is satellite information. He links with satellites, and that's how he's able to do old international shit.
It is, but also a lot of it is just kind of go with it, comic logic. He probably produces his own
Wi-Fi. That's why I love manga more.
Nah, whatever.
You really want to do this?
Let's not do this right now.
No. So, on the next episode.
So, I don't even know, but like, so they're back at the Avengers hideout, and then Bruce Banner and Tony are talking, and then Tony's like, you know what, I totally want to put Jarvis in this body. Bruce's like, I don't know, man, but we're mad scientists. Okay, let's do it. So they do it, and then Cap is like, no, what are you doing, dick?
Well, specifically, he's like, you didn't tell us what you were doing before. This whole shit is your fault to begin with. So you're gonna go mess with science and magic again without telling us again. But this time, we're not all gonna die.
Yeah, and then they have a bit of a scuffle, and then Vision comes online and is like, "Hey, I'm a good guy, and I know exactly what Ultron's plan is.
Somehow.
So let's go stop him." So then they go, and then they stop him. That's the short end of it, but we can talk a little bit more into it.
a bit more happens in between.
Yeah, but it was such a, I guess. What's up, Phil?
The part when he lifts up Thor's hammer.
Oh yeah, he lifts up Thor's hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, if in case the internet hasn't already spoiled that image for you.
Exactly. Whatever.
Thank you,
doesn't matter.
Tumblr.
It was cool. So
Also raised another question. If Vision is a robot, right? And we're gonna sit here as
he's an organic human robot.
He's an artificial human who apparently is so pure that he's worthy.
But isn't he's programmed to be a good guy?
Yes.
So that makes him worthy. If you have no free will, you're worthy to use the hammer. If it's not your free will, does that make you worthy?
Well, I don't do any of us have
I think
free
we're
will.
looking into this too deeply.
But we're not trying to pick up an infinitely heavy hammer.
Word.
Yeah.
Bam. Manga 1, Marvel 0. Suck it.
This is like you're being just a petty little
DC
bitch over there, you little
DC
cunt.
and Marvel.
Shut up.
Isn't Vision a DC character? Like Hork and
Why do you do this to me?
Why are you doing this? All right. So anyway, they go to the wherever is Stan that's going up in the sky because Ultron put the thing in the ground, and then they have a big long fight scene that's basically the same fight scene as the end of the first Avengers, but not as good. And now I know what you're saying, like, oh, but Bob, finally all the Ultron robots. There wasn't enough Ultron robots, okay? Nowhere near enough.
Honestly,
Well, I mean, your whole thing complaining that there weren't enough of them before. They finally gave you a whole bunch of them, and you're.
But it's not enough.
I know it's not enough, but still, you're going to talk down the
Shut
fight
up.
scene that badly. No, you're going to talk down the scene that badly, but they're finally giving you the thing you wanted, even if. All right, I guess it wasn't enough.
It was mostly a good fight scene. I will say that. I did like all the cross tech that was happening.
Cross tech.
The cross tech, like all the crossover moves, like Captain America would do a thing, and then Thor would just hit his hammer on his shield. And
I mean, like all the like team combos, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2.
Yeah, like all the cross tech.
It's great gameplay.
I just call it cross tech.
we suddenly
You're all distracted. You guys need to focus. So, anyway,
Well, I guess the one thing you were saying before is, Ultron came in with an army of henchmen who, like, these things were going down. But, like, Captain America could throw a shield at him, they'd go down. Like, Hawkeye could shoot it with an arrow and it would go down.
Like,
and,
they're so mass-produced.
But in the comics, like, these are guys where, like, one of these things can, like, fight with Thor for a while.
yeah. So it's like a pretty big deal that like they're just like beating them like nothing, like paper. So anyway, back to what I was saying about the fight. It was a solid fight. It had some good moments, but otherwise,
I think we were saying, though, is... Yeah, it really wasn't enough. I mean...
It felt like a rehash, just not as big on scale.
Well, what I was going to say is, I mean, if you saw some of the posters for Age of Ultron...
Wait, Phil's raising his hand again.
You forgot to mention the talk between Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch.
That's not that important.
Yeah, not really. Just, hey, be a good guy.
Yeah, he basically... Yeah, he's the one who, like, finishes convincing them to become Avengers.
You know what I also forgot to mention?
That's a good part of our character development.
Yeah, I thought it was nice.
Nothing really changes about them to make it happen.
I thought that... I already brought up that I really like how they handled Hawkeye in this movie, and that is just another really good example. But, and I also got... I can't believe I forgot to mention this. Fucking Quicksilver's awesome Reebok sneakers. Yeah!
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to say this in the last recording of this.
He was just Reebok man in this movie.
He really was just Reebok man, and that's what disturbs me, because he didn't really have much to say or much to do, to the point where it's just like, hey guys, I'm really fast, buy some Reeboks.
And guess what? He died!
He gets pumped full of lead, and even then it's just like, did you see that coming? By the way, buy my shoes. Blech.
Yeah, that's what fucking annoyed me. He saved lives. I think honestly, given his speed, he died unnecessarily.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to not be around for the next movie.
How did you not see the bullets coming?
No, I can't help but think they just didn't want him in the movie because they don't want to mess with X-Men.
Also, I think actually it was because there was the fact that the actors were losing their accents way too fucking much. And it was getting annoying at that point. Like, honestly, that was the biggest point that annoyed me about those two characters. The fact that
Scarlet Witch's accents were...
Their accents dropped. Their Georgian accents dropped so fucking much. Like, I understand if you're
It's a little thing, I guess.
If you have a character and they're from another country, you need to get them the accent perfectly fine. There are dozens of actors who do it on a daily basis. Why can't you do it? Or hell, even have it so they've been naturalized, they've been in the U.S. for quite some time, and they have mastered the American accent, and they can just curse in fucking Russian.
So, regardless, basically,
I mean, I'd say that is kind of a nitpick, but considering what a like big budget A-list movie this is, I guess they could have done better.
Yeah, so like I was saying about the fight scene in general, kind of like to sum it up, like they fight the little Ultron robots, and then all of a sudden the SHIELD helicarrier comes back. Hey, it's Nick Fury, our good friend. You can go rescue all the people that are still up on top of this big old, constant, still flying giant like piece of city.
Oh, but that actually was another good point that they were actually considering they were basically going to have to sacrifice all the people in that city to save the planet.
That was pretty good.
Which, like, they weren't sure about that, but I'm saying, like, not saying he was that much of a dick for doing this, because understandably, it's an understandable decision, but Tony Stark was probably going to be the one to make that call.
Yeah.
Like when I say his dark side, I don't mean to say like he's being evil, but to show like they're kind of building up to Civil War Iron Man.
Yeah. So basically, Ultron is like getting wrecked, but he's getting wrecked by Vision and everybody. So then he goes into a jet plane, shoots up Quicksilver. Then he gets shot down and thrown into a train, and then Scarlet Witch rips his heart out, fatality style, because like you killed my brother. Yeah. So, and then they stop the machine, or rather, they stop the machine, and like that was the end of that. And then you see a little Ultron robot walking in the field, and then Vision comes up to him, and they have a little bit of a back and forth. And I like that scene.
Yeah,
because it's like he is technically Vision's father. And I mean, I still don't feel like it was enough. But
well, actually, he's more like Vision's like older brother.
I mean, we do get an offshoot of what exactly happens during their conflict, but I really just want Ultron to just come back, because having him just get killed off just like that, it didn't feel right.
Yeah, it feels
that,
like the least cohesive, because like, hey, Loki was a villain in 3 movies. Ultron gets 1 movie.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like, I mean, since you're such a fan of Ultron, he's such a constant presence in the Marvel Universe, but in the movie, he really was just like a monster of the week.
Yeah,
which
this was very final.
Actually, I'm not sure if this was already part of the recording, but like I was saying before, it seemed like this movie. Actually, no, I don't think it was. I don't think this movie was really enough to be its own standalone movie. I feel like
it's another tie-in.
Like Ultron really was almost entirely inconsequential. I think it was really just to build up to Civil War. Yeah, really. And which, I mean, I think that was kind of the problem with, like, I felt like, the first Thor movie and Captain America, even though they actually were pretty... Well, Captain America was a pretty good movie. They were kind of just building up to the first Avengers.
Exactly. So, in the end, you see they send Hulk away, and I forget why exactly he was sent away.
They didn't send...
They didn't explicitly say...
They didn't send him away. He just...
fucked off.
Yeah, cause, like, he decided... he was just angsting about, legitimate Hulk angsty stuff, like, I can't be around anyone because I smash too much when I get angry. So he just wanted to just go away. But, they tried to plug the, Black Widow romance one more time, like... Oh, okay, Bruce, now you just need to, disable stealth mode so I can contact you again, and he basically, like, hangs up on her and then goes away forever.
Like, you're talking to somebody in front of their friends and you hang up on them. That's just rude.
That's fucked.
Because, they need to get Hulk out of the way for Civil War.
Tony Stark drives off into the sunset thinking, yeah, I'm a great guy, and...
yeah, pretty much.
and then Captain America gets together the new Avengers, which is consistent of Scarlet Witch, Falcon, War Machine, who else? Black Widow, I believe, as well.
I think there was someone else.
I think Hawkeye as well. I
mean, he was already there.
Yeah, he was already there. He had a new task force. Captain America did. So,
yeah. I mean, I think Vision was there.
Vision was there. So. And one more thing about Vision that I
well, so they're not necessarily going to be Captain Avengers because Civil War, War Machine's probably going to go with Iron Man.
My problem is with Vision particularly, I love his design. It's great. My problem is the Infinity Gem, which isn't even like a design flaw. Like, it looks fine on him, but you know what that does mean?
It means
He's gonna die.
He's gonna die. You know he's gonna die because fucking Thanos is just gonna take the gem and be like, look at my big ol' Infinity Gauntlet.
My big ol' hand.
And speaking of Thanos, we get another scene, and that's the end of the movie. That's Thanos, yeah.
Well, Thanos appears after the credits.
I can handle this myself.
No, he appeared before the credits.
Yeah.
Oh, I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like people are actually tired of waiting until after the credits are done because it's kind of
yeah, whatever. Thanos basically waves hi, and then that's it.
It's like,
As he usually
Hey
does.
guys, see you guys next time.
I think the longest scene we've had with Thanos so far was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, when is he? Because I will say, this is another reason why, Ultron's design really annoys me so much. Because it's like, you change his design so drastically, but Thanos looks comic book accurate as fuck.
Well, I think it's because with Guardians of the Galaxy, people already accept it's so far out there they can do stuff like that.
I guess, but it's still
Even
I feel like there is no reason why Ultron shouldn't have did the Ultron face at least once in the movie.
Honestly, if they kept the old Ultron face, that would actually just make him scarier.
That
would actually make him just appearance-wise a more intimidating.
Honestly, I think maybe they could have done like a Power Rangers thing, where once he starts fighting, then
the face comes out, like his face melds.
Yeah. The thing with 2/3 of his face is just like a giant glowing red mouth.
Yeah. So I guess my final thoughts about this movie, essentially, we'll go around with all of our thoughts. I thought it was good, but I don't think it's worth going to the theater to seeing it at full price. You should go see it at matinee price if you really, really want to see it in the theaters. If not, just wait for Blu-ray, honestly. It'd be more worth it at that point.
For me, I'm just gonna go out saying, if you're gonna see this movie, lower your expectations. Don't go in with the same amount of hype that the trailers and the first movie gave you. There are a lot of disappointing aspects to it, and ultimately it just ends up not being exactly as worth it as the first movie.
Contrary to what Bob says, I will say, if you want to see this movie, I say go see it at a full ticket price because, one, that shows you're supporting the industry, and two, you're supporting specifically Marvel/DC. And the more support they have, the better the next movie is going to be, hopefully. Obviously, a few nitpicks here and there that I wish they would have changed.
I mean, it made millions as it is, so...
It did.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure DC isn't profiting from that.
People saw a lot of that, opening night, which is full price, if not more so.
Yeah, so it's already kind of too late.
Well, that's the thing. Whether or not it was good, the hype is there.
The hype is there. Don't ride the hype train. And there's a lot of just more minor details that just personally annoyed me. That I honestly, because when you have a company as big as Disney and as big as Marvel behind the movie, you come with a certain expectation, and they kind of let me down quite a few times in certain aspects of this movie. Otherwise, I enjoy it. I paid for it. I paid to watch shit go down, and I watched shit go down. I also got to watch Hulk get punched in the face repeatedly.
Yeah.
So, that's good. Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, I did enjoy it, but... I really don't think you really need to go out and see it in theaters. I mean, compared to,
Guardians.
Yeah. I mean,
Captain America
compared to, the really good ones, like Winter Soldier.
Oh, my God.
I mean, some of these movies I would definitely say, go out and see, but, I mean, regardless of recommendation, the hype is there. People are going out and people went out and saw it opening night anyway, whether or not it was good, just because they already have such a strong reputation. But that's the thing, this is not the kind of movie that will create that kind of reputation. If you weren't a fan before, you could show someone the first Iron Man movie, and, that might make an Iron Man fan out of them. Captain America, Winter Soldier, I really didn't care that much about Cap before that movie, but after Winter Soldier, I thought that was even better than the Iron Man movies, and, Iron Man's one of my favorite characters. It was just that good of a movie. This one, it is a good movie. There's good fights.
It's not the worst Marvel movie.
Well, yeah, but no, I mean, if you just kind of want to get your fix, you just like these characters, you want to see them just being the characters you like, interacting, and you want to see some decent fights, you see them fight the way they should, they're there. Tony's being a snarky asshole, Captain America's being, hilariously out of touch. It's all there. That is what people like, but in order for that, you kind of have to already be a fan. If you already like these characters and you want to see more of them, it will deliver, but as a standalone movie, this is not something that will make Marvel fans. If you weren't already a fan, this movie is not going to make you into one.
Alright, I think that does it for this one. We might have another thing next, or not. This might actually be the end of this podcast. Depends on how Leon wants to add to it. But thank you guys for being on. I really appreciate it.
It was your pleasure.
My pleasure. Yeah. So, alright. Have a good night, everybody. And see you on the next segment and or on the next podcast. Peace out.
Okay, bye.
You're all puppets.
Casey, can't wave!
Tangled in strings. Strings.